66 million years ago, Earth was not the world we know. It was a land of giants, raw and untamed. Here, every step shook the soil. Every war thundered across endless forests. Vast herds of colossal creatures thrived beneath skies ruled by winds and storms of thunder. And yet, among these giants, one predator would rise as the ultimate tyrant. Tyrannosaurus Rex, the apex predator of its age, forged for domination. Armed with bone-crushing jaws and eyes that lock onto prey, this hunter was nature's most fearsome weapon. Every movement was deliberate, every step a silent promise of death. In the shadow of this hunter, few lived long enough to escape its gaze. In moments of quiet, the tyrant drew closer, unseen, inevitable. Every breath carried the weight of death itself. With each thunderous step, the earth itself yielded to its reign. And when its foe shattered the silence, the world knew its master. Prey fled in desperation, a storm of hooves and fear. The tyrant pursued, an avalanche of muscle and fury. Some would escape by the breath of a heartbeat. But the hunter's gaze never strayed from the weakest. Strength and size made it unstoppable, driven only by hunger. In the shadow of the tyrant, even the skies waited to feast. 66 million years ago, this was the undisputed king of the Cretaceous. But life was not only about survival. In the heart of this primeval world came the promise of renewal. Psalms carried across the land, melodies of courtship and devotion. Colossal hearts danced as giants performed rituals older than time. In their tender gestures, giants revealed the truth that even the mightiest hearts long for connection. Courtship was a language written in earth and water, a dance of survival and affection. Even the skies became a stage for love, painted in color and flight. Life's legacy lay fragile in the earth, guarded with unyielding devotion. Every fragile shell carried the weight of an ancient future. But love was never free of conflict. Rivals fought for the right to continue their bloodlines. And in the triumph of one, the lineage of the future was sealed. Some showed affection in ritual displays, a dance carved into the memory of their kind. Even those clad in armor found tenderness beneath the weight of survival. With gestures as strange as they were beautiful, some sought love through spectacle. Across valleys and mountains, voices of longing carried on the wind, a chorus of ancient devotion. And among them all, the greatest predator, prepared for a meeting written in destiny. Here, in the silence of dawn, the tyrant announced its presence to the world. But in the shadows, another waited, not prey, not rival, something more. At first glance, it seemed the battle was about to ignite a war of titans. But in a single gesture, hostility gave way to recognition. And so began the encounter of tyrants, a bond forged not in blood, but in fate. Caution lingered, but instinct pulled them closer too, forces drawn together by ancient design. A display of power, not of menace, but of strength worthy of acknowledgement. In their mirrored movements lay a language older than time itself. What could have been a clash of titans became a touch of trust. And thus, among the ruins of a primal world, the tyrants chose not to battle, but to stand together. Down by instinct and alliance, the tyrants now moved as one, hunters of unmatched power. With patience carved by millennia, the predators studied their prey, waiting for the fatal moment. A single glance, a subtle growl, and then silent tap was made. The plains erupted in terror as the shadows closed in with precision born of instinct. In unity, they conquered. Not rivals, but partners, tyrants that ruled together. On the riverbank, the male T-Rex struck with fury, met head-on by the horned titan Triceratops. Together, the female T-Rex lunged, lending her strength to the hunt. The Triceratops fought back, a fortress of horns, against relentless jaws. Together, the male T-Rex and the female T-Rex brought the Triceratops to its knees. And in the storm's shadow, the male T-Rex and the female T-Rex claimed their prize. The feast began, the female T-Rex and the male T-Rex carving life from the fallen giant. But even in triumph, rivalry burned, the male T-Rex fighting the female T-Rex for dominance. In the storm's edge, juvenile T-Rex lingered, awaiting a chance to join the feast. Under the female T-Rex's gaze, the young dared their first taste of blood. From thunder and blood, a dynasty endured, the reign of Tyrannosaurus Rex. At the break of day, the Troodonts ruled the horizon, masters of wind and wave. Yet higher still, the Quetzalcoatlus reigned, wings whiter than a fighter jet, shadowing the seas below. From the skies, the giant struck swift and merciless, seizing life from the depths. Even kings of the air faced challengers, rivals desperate for survival. And above storm and surf, the Quetzalcoatlusaur, unchallenged, emperor of the skies. Above the forests, giants of the air ruled the Quetzalcoatlus. Wings spanning 12 meters, kings of the prehistoric sky. With eyesight as sharp as an eagle's, the Quetzalcoatlus struck from above with silent precision. At river's edge, even swift hunters like Struthiomes were not safe from the aerial tyrant. Carrion was a feast, drawing fierce battles on Monday, winged giants themselves. In the skies, dominance was won through violent clashes. Only the strongest survived the storms above. Quetzalcoatlus were not bound to one place, their vast wings carried them across endless plains, masters of migration and the open sky. High upon sheer cliffs, where a few predators could follow, Quetzalcoatlus built their colonies, fortresses suspended between earth and sky. From fragile hatchlings, utterly dependent, would grow the largest flyers the world has ever known. Yet, even in these sky citadels, danger lingered, and only vigilance preserved the next generation. Together, the guardians of the sky ruled the height sentinels of an empire that stretched from horizon to horizon. From fragile shells emerged the next generation of tyrants, small, vulnerable, yet destined for greatness. The T-Rex mother was a vigilant guardian, shielding her young from the endless dangers of the Cretaceous world. Each step became a lesson in survival bounds, movement, and the language of the hunt. In play, the young sharpened skills they would want. They wielded as weapons of dominance. But the world was merciless, and every shadow concealed a threat eager to strike. Day by day, the hatchling transformed. The small became swift, the fragile grew into a shadow of power. From the father, the juvenile T-Rex learned the first lesson of the tyrant: how to take life and share the kill. Failure was the crucible of growth. Each chase, each stumble, sharpened the hunter's resolve. Among siblings, dominance was forged. To rule, a tyrant must first conquer its own blood. In that voice lay the future, the roar of a tyrant king in the making. From fragile beginnings, every young Tyrannosaurus Rex faced a perilous path to survival. Guided by instinct, each step carried the young predator closer to its destiny. A mother Tyrannosaurus Rex did not hunt for her young alone. She taught them to find strength in flesh and bone. With every bite, the young tyrant's hunger for power grew. But the forest held dangers far greater than hunger. Smaller predators waited for a chance to strike at the vulnerable youth. Few dared to test the wrath of a mother, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Within the shadow of her strength, the young tyrant lived another day. And with each passing season, the hatchling grew closer to its true form. In those eyes, the promise of a tyrant and the shadow of a king. The mother T-Rex taught her hatchling simple lessons, digging, tasting life's first prey, but dangers lurked nearby. Only the mother T-Rexes war kept predators distant. The hatchling chased lizards, stumbling at first, learning the rhythm of pursuit. Each small victory was shared, the mother T-Rex feeding, body and spirit. Step by step, the hatchling T-Rex grew bolder, its calls ringing stronger. Then the father T-Rex appeared vast, imposing, yet a guardian at heart. In rare calm, the father T-Rex touched the hatchling with gentle care. The hatchling tried its first to a thin, fragile, but a promise of thunder. In play, the hatchling nipped its father's tail, testing strength through games. Together they crossed the plains mother, father, and child, heirs of Tyrannosaurus. The valley opened before them, a land of promise and peril. Great herds roamed below, prey and challenge alike. Patience was the first lesson of the hunt. But curiosity often outweighed caution in youth. The mother's roar reminded all who ruled these lands. The father T-Rex demonstrated the art of pursuit, relentless and precise. The hatchling copied each motion, strength still hidden beneath youth. Together they feasted, the meal binding their bond as a family. As the sun fell, peace embraced them, a rare gift in their harsh world. In dreams, the hatchling sights future one day to rise as a giant. The young T-Rex begins to test its legs, clumsy steps turning slowly into steady strides. In play, the young predator sharpens the tools of survival. Every move is guided by the watchful gaze of the T-Rex mother. The T-Rex father teaches through offering the raw essence of life itself. Tiny jaws strain against the strength of nature, every bite a lesson in patience. Hunger fuels will, and will fuels growth. For the young T-Rex, even small victories carry the weight of triumph. Together, they endure, family bound in blood and storm. The voice of the T-Rex mother declares dominion, echoing across the drenched forest. In the shadow of a giant mother T-Rex, a baby T-Rex finds warmth and learns where true strength lies. The young Tyrannosaurus ventures into the open for the first time, instincts pulling it beyond the safety of the forest. Curiosity sharpens awareness, each sound and movement, a lesson in survival. Clumsy steps echo the awkwardness of youth, but beneath them lies the blueprint of a future hunter. Instinct drives the chase, though skill has yet to be refined. Failure today sows the seeds of strength tomorrow. From the shadows emerges guidance, the presence of a towering guardian. Lessons are not always taught in triumph, sometimes they are given in mercy. Every bite builds not only muscle, but memory. Patience defines the parent, protection, forged in silent vigil. In the endless struggle of survival, lineage is the bridge between past and future. Adolescence fades into power. The young Tyrannosaurus begins to see the world as its own. Each heavy step carries not just weight, but a growing claim over the land below. Territory is marked not only in soil, but in scars etched deep into the earth. When paths cross, silence hangs heavier than any roar. Rivals measure strength first in presence, before teeth ever meet. In a heartbeat, dominance erupts, jaws snapping with sudden fury. Clashing giants shake the ground, every strike a wager for survival. In the eye of the hunter, determination burns, brighter than fear. The forest breaks beneath their fury, the land itself bearing witness. Victory brings more than land, it carves a legacy across the valley. Dawn crowns his victory, yet no land is given only, guarded with tooth and roar. Each scar on bark, each drag of tail proclaims a single truth: this is mine. A roar is no sound, it is thunder given form, echoing through the valleys. To prey, that thunder is terror itself, distant, yet irresistible. But no crown is eternal, another king rises, summoned by the scent of power. Two titans, one land, the law of the Cretaceous allows no equals. The challenger strikes first, each thunderous step, a vowed conquest. The ruler lowers his skull of iron, answering, with fury unbroken. The plains quake as destiny is forged in dust, fury, and roars of war. Survival is not claimed by strength alone, but by the will to rule. The clash begins, two titans collide with earth-shaking fury, each determined to rule this land. Claws rip through flesh, each strike tainting the forest floor with blood. They lock together, neither yielding, strength and rage balanced in deadly struggle. The battlefield widens as the forest itself shatters under their colossal rage. But the rival strikes back, ramming his massive skull into the throat of his foe. The male's jaws lock like iron, tearing into muscle with merciless precision. Blood blinds the rival's gaze, but fury sharpens his will to fight on. With savage triumph, the rival rips a bloody piece from his opponent's shoulder. Wounded, the male stumbles, his chest running red, but his spirit refuses surrender. One desperate strike, his jaws close just short of victory. The battle rages on. The rival seizes momentum, driving his foe hard into splintering trees. But the male strikes back, his claws carving bloody furrows across his enemy's chest. They twist and bite, raw strength tearing at the balance of survival. Bone shatters as the rival clamps down, crushing the male's forearm in brutal fury. With desperate force, the male slams upward, breaking free from the crushing bite. Exhausted but unbroken, the giants circle, each waiting for the fatal opening. The rival lunges again, jaws stretched wide, hungry for the killing bite. But the male counters, his jaws pierce the rival's throat in a savage strike. The rival thrashes, blood pouring as the forest shakes with his desperate struggle. Dust rises as titans fall, one clings for life, the other drowns in blood and rage. The rival's strength falters, his vision fades as blood chokes his breath. The male tightens his grip, determined to end the rival's reign once and for all. Knees buckle, the forest trembles as the mighty rival begins to fall. With blooded jaws, the victor releases, his chest heaves with primal triumph. The fallen giant gasps his last breath, the silence marks his end. Above the carcass, the male stands triumphant, lord of this blood-soaked domain. Blood paints his muzzle, but his gaze burns with unchallenged power. Already, the sky stirs with scavengers, witnesses to the fallen king. A roar erupts, echoing across the valley, the cry of a ruler, undefeated. But every triumph leaves scars, the forest bears witness to a battle carved in blood and earth. His claws sink into the fallen dominance carved into flesh and earth. The battlefield lies in ruin, testament to nature's brutal law. Bathed in sunlight, he rises, his reign sealed in blood and shadow. Yet even in victory, his eyes search, always watching, forever guarding. One king stands triumphant, but in the shadow of time, even kings are not eternal. The king survives the battle, but another war, far greater, is approaching. His body weakens, unaware that the earth itself prepares to strike. In the south, the Deccan traps awaken, releasing fire and poison into the skies. Clouds of ash choke the light, veiling the sun, suffocating the green world. From the poisoned skies falls acid rain, burning plants, corroding life. Hunger spreads, the land starves, and so do the giants who walk it. Yet above all this chaos, a final blow descends from the heavens. To Chicxulub impact an inferno that shatters an age in seconds. Not only by tooth or claw did there rain fall, but by the relentless fire of the earth itself, by suffocating ash that blotted out the sun, and by the burning rain that seared the land. Thus, the mighty dynasty of the dinosaurs reached its end. And so the reign of giants falls extinguished by volcanoes, by acid skies, and by a star's fatal strike. From the ashes, life finds a way. Tiny survivors inherit a changed world, and a new age begins.